Hi everybody, this is Matt. Thanks for watching and welcome back. Well, I've had a bit of a nightmare with a new Glock 19 and I thought I would share the experience with you. So a long time ago, I did a video on a Glock 19 that I own that has a NIB-X finish on it. And this has been just extremely reliable, just, very, very sweet trigger, everything. It's been a dream. The only thing is the way that my hands are kind of meaty and I get it up here, I tend to get slide bite. So when I saw that a local dealer happened to have a Gen 4 Glock 19 in stock, I'm like, hey, this will be great. This will be really, really great. So I went ahead and I bought it. And that's when the problems began. As I always do, I'll never take a gun directly to the range. I'll bring it home and I'll clean it first. First of all, this thing had a 10-pound trigger. A 10-pound trigger pull. It was absolutely crazy. I'm like, what the heck is up with that? Well, I went ahead, took the gun apart. First of all, there is no lube anywhere. The lube is gone. And this is a new gun. I have no idea who did the NIB-X coating on it, but there was no lube. Zero zip, nada. I got investigating it further and I'm trying to diagnose, okay, what's wrong with the trigger? And I pull out the trigger and the finish actually looks splotchy. So hopefully, since I moved the camera, you'll be able to see this. This does not look like the trigger on my other Glock. It is just splotchy and uneven. Well, as luck would have it, I had an extra trigger, put it in there, and thought, okay, we're good to go. And I check it again, it's like, no, something quite not right with it. So I go ahead, tear it down even further, and I notice that the striker is having difficulty moving back and forth. So I disassemble the slide. And after I do that, I find plastic shards inside of the channel where the striker's at. And the shards correspond exactly with the channel liner. So what do? I figure channel liner's a little bit damaged, possibly, so I'll go ahead and replace it. I had a spare, that's great. I went ahead, I replaced it. I put the striker back in. It still acted a little bit off. And I went ahead, I replaced the striker spring. It's still off a little bit, and it wasn't freely moving back and forth. There was just a little bit of drag on it. So anyhow, got things sorted out, got the trigger pulled down to about 5.5 pounds, took it to the range. From that point forward, that's where all the nightmares began. Out of the first mag, every single attempt to feed was a failure. It would just get hung up. And I'm like, what in the world's going on? So finally, I just started banging the back of it and getting it into battery because, well, I'll back up here. I disassembled it, made sure that everything was the way that it should be, everything was nice and proper, and then I reassembled it. But it still had issues. And I had lubricated this thing, not a problem there. So I just started tapping it into battery, firing it, it wouldn't cycle. Tap it into battery again, fire, wouldn't cycle, tap it into battery again. I'm starting to get a little bit annoyed. Then I had a double feed. And for those of you that don't know what that is, it didn't extract the case and I get a hang up. So I had a lot of experience in dealing with malfunctions. Basically about the first 50 rounds. And I'm thinking, well, maybe it's just going to go ahead and loosen up. No, can't be that lucky. I put 150 rounds through it, and I get back and the gal at the range is like, so how did it go? And I'm like, I've got issues with this particular gun. And she's like, what? And explain it to her. We tear it down. She looks at it. It's super dirty. And she's like, what kind of ammo were you shooting through this thing? And how many rounds? I'm like, it's only 150 rounds. And I was shooting the clean burning spear stuff that I've never had an issue with. Well, it looks terrible. Let me just go ahead and show it to you. We'll see a little bit of a hint. You can see a little bit dark right there. So let's just go ahead and I'll take it down and you will see that this is ugly. All right, see the scorch marks right there. That looks like a whole lot more than 150 rounds went through this puppy, right? Yeah. That has got some major burn marks right in there. And the inside of the gun basically looks about the same. It looks like a blast furnace down inside of there. Let me get it up here a little bit. That is just super dirty. Now remember, I replaced the trigger bar with one that I'd already polished up, and it is just absolutely filthy. Filthy as sin. So let's get on here to the good stuff. Gonna pull out the recoil spring assembly and get the barrel out. Now, even the barrel looks ugly. Nice black scorch marks. And then when we get up here to the breech, look how dirty that is. That looks absolutely horrible. There you go. So, as I look into the lights here, I see an awful lot of debris inside that barrel. Just tons of it. And let's see if you can see some of that. Let me get a little bit closer for you. So there's quite a bit of buildup in there for 150 rounds. And I noticed also that it wanted to buck a lot. And by bucking, what I mean by that is that I was just getting more recoil than I should have out of it. So now that I've got the barrel out, let's go over to the handy digital calipers and see what it looks like internally as far as the measurements. Now, this is about 0.384 of an inch, which, you know, that's normally what I expect to see out of a Glock. But what I don't expect is this much garbage in there, as well as just all the blowback that is all the way around it. So again, here you can see the scorch marks that are around the breech. You see that the striker is up there. Now, when I push down on this safety plunger, you see that the striker is up. And let's see if it falls down, because it wasn't falling down for me earlier. It actually fell down that time. Well, that's good. This part of it seems to have loosened up because it wasn't as free floating as before. But, I mean, look at that. That's horrible. And without any kind of cleaner whatsoever, let's just wipe this for a minute. Yuck. So I'm a little bit irritated with the gun, and I'm also very, very curious. And I just thought I would share the experience with you and see if you folks had any feedback, if you have any ideas, because I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to clean this thoroughly again and then it'll go back to the range and we'll try it out again and see what's going on. So do you have any thoughts? Because at the moment, this particular gun, there is no way that I would ever carry this concealed because it's unreliable. It does not go bang every time that I would need it to go bang. Big safety issue. And if it doesn't get sorted out, it's going to go bye-bye. Just the way it is. So there you have it. And anyway, thanks for hanging in with me this long on the video, but I just wanted to share that with you because something is definitely askew. And hey, you know what? Since we've already been about 10 minutes or so, what the heck? Let's just go ahead and take this slide down, pardon me here, as I go ahead and just pop this out. Let's see what the striker looks like. Comes out a little bit heavy. Well, generally that doesn't look too bad. I'm not seeing any shards, but I shouldn't because I went ahead and I replaced the channel liner, and everything in there looks halfway decent. Who knows? It's a mystery. Anyway, there you have it. Thanks for watching. Your feedback would be appreciated because if you've run into something like this before, hey, let's share some information here. Let's compare notes. Anyhow, until next time, everybody, thank you very much for watching and have a good one and be safe out there.